Welcome back, everyone, to Cyber Mornings Daily. Great to have you with us. We're placed to, make sense of this constantly shifting digital world. Today, we're doing another deep dive. We'll cut through the noise on some of the really compelling tech and cybersecurity stories making waves right now. Okay, let's unpack this. What a week it's been in the digital realm. Just so much happening. From these high-stakes cyber incidents, keeping security pros, busy, to some genuinely exciting AI advancements that could really reshape things.
It really is a landscape of constant flux, isn't it? Nonstop. And today, we're unpacking three big narratives that really highlight this whole dynamic. First up, we've got this pretty dramatic alleged data leak, a major telecom company, conflicting stories, a persistent hacker. It's got it all. Then we'll pivot to a confirmed ransomware attack that basically hobbled a global IT giant, caused huge outages, and honestly highlights some vulnerabilities we see time and time again, even with the big players. And finally, something a bit more forward-looking, a peek into the future of AI, OpenAI's plans for GPT-5. Ambitious stuff. What's fascinating here, I think, is how these seemingly disparate events truly highlight the constant evolution of both threats and innovations. They really push each other.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into it. Story number one, the Telefonica breach. Got this hacker, goes by Ray, claiming they pulled off a massive data heist from Telefonica. We're talking 106 gigabytes.
That's a lot of data.
Yeah, it is. The alleged breach date was apparently May 30th. And reclaims they had, get this, 12 uninterrupted hours of access, just siphoning data before getting cut off.
12 hours is a long window.
Right. And as proof, Ray leaked a 2.6 gigabyte archive, unpacks to about 5 gigs. Inside, over 20,000 files, supposedly internal comms, tickets, emails, purchase orders, logs, customer records, even employee data. The claim is a staggering 385,311 files in total. Quite the haul, if true.
It's a huge claim, and the technical angle they're citing is, it's telling. Ray says they're part of the Hellcat Ransomware group, and they got in through a Jira misconfiguration.
Okay, Jira. Remind us.
Yeah, so Jira is that software lots of companies use for project management, issue tracking, especially tech and dev teams. And Hellcat, they're actually known for specifically targeting vulnerable Jira servers. So that fits.
Oh, thought.
What makes this really interesting, though, is that Telefónica apparently had another run-in with Hellcat back in January, also involving a Jira server.
Wow, really? Same method?
Seems like it, or at least targeting the same type of system. It points to this critical, recurring vulnerability, misconfigurations. Sounds simple, maybe boring, but these kinds of oversights can be gaping holes. Attackers are really good at finding them. Often it's these, unglamorous flaws that cause the biggest headaches.
And here's where the drama really ramps up. Conflicting stories. Telefonica's O2 brand came out publicly and basically dismissed it. Right. Said it's just an extortion attempt using old data, recycled stuff from a previous breach.
The standard denial playbook sometime.
Right. But Raya, totally insistent, says, nope, this is brand new from May 30th, and they're threatening to leak the full 106 gigs if demands aren't met. But here's the twist. Bleeping Computer looked at the sample data Ray leaked. They did find some apparently active employee email addresses in there.
Okay, so that suggests maybe some current data.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the most recent file they could actually date in that sample was from 2021.
So that muddies the water significantly. Old data mixed with maybe some newer credentials. It's hard to say.
Exactly. And this just raises that really important question for companies, doesn't it? How do you balance transparency with managing an ongoing incident?
It's so tough.
If you say too much too soon, you might cause panic or even help the attacker. But if you stay silent or just issue denials, you risk losing trust, especially if the attacker keeps leaking things. It fuels speculation, makes it incredibly hard for anyone outside to know what's really going on. Is it real? Is it just extortion? It is a real tightrope walk. The classic damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Yeah.
Denying might seem like the safe play initially, stops immediate panic. But these days, attackers love posting receipts, leaking samples. So a flat denial without really strong proof to back it up, sometimes that can backfire reputationally.
Yeah.
It creates this information vacuum, and guess who fills it? The attacker, with their version of the story. So organizations aren't just fighting a technical battle, they're fighting a PR and trust battle at the exact same time. And you gotta say, Ray is persistent. After grabbing the data, they first tried distributing it via pixel drain. That link got taken down pretty fast, probably legal notices flying around.
Standard procedure.
So undeterred, Ray moves it to another file sharing site, Codizada, which Google Chrome immediately flagged as dangerous. Big red warning screen.
Yeah, Chrome's pretty quick on those known malicious distribution sites.
It shows determination, though. And this group, Hellcat, as you mentioned, they're not rookies. They focus on Jira, apparently, and they've claimed hits on other big names before. Ascom in Switzerland, Jaguar Land Rover, Affinitive Schneider Electric, even Orange Group.
Right. So they have a history. It suggests this isn't just some random opportunistic attack. They likely have established tactics.
Okay, let's shift gears now from alleged breaches and back-and-forth claims to another major incident causing very real disruption. We're talking about the IT distribution giant, Ingram Micro. They've been dealing with some serious outages.
Yeah, I saw reports on that. Big problems.
For days, their main website, their online ordering systems, totally down. A massive headache for their partners and customers, you can imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Disrupts the whole supply chain.
And the cause, now confirmed, it was a SafePay ransomware attack. And this wasn't just like the public website. Employees apparently found ransom notes right on their work devices.
Oof. That means deep infiltration, not just external systems.
Yeah, indicates a pretty significant internal compromise, locking things down.
Right, and the suspected entry point here is really important for, well, everyone listening to think about their own security posture. It's believed the attackers got into Ingram Micro through their GlobalProtect VPN platform.
A VPN, so remote access.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And exploiting VPN gateways. Sadly, it's incredibly common, a go-to tactic. Attackers often use compromised credentials, maybe stolen from somewhere else, maybe phished, or they do these password spray attacks.
Password spraying. That's trying common passwords against many accounts, right?
Yeah. Precisely. Just hoping for a few easy hits. And the big clue here, Ingram Micro actually told its own employees not to use the company's GlobalProtect VPN.
Ah, okay. That strongly points the finger.
It really does. It's a stark reminder. Those gateways designed for secure remote work. They can become a huge vulnerability if they're not patched constantly, configured securely, and crucially protected with strong multi-factor authentication. MFA is key.
And the operational impact for Ingram Micro sounds pretty severe. Systems like their AI-powered Xvantage platform, that's their big distribution system, and the Impulse license platform were hit hard. Major business disruption.
Yeah, those are core systems for them.
Interestingly, though, core internal stuff like Microsoft 365, Teams, SharePoint, reportedly kept working.
Okay, that suggests maybe some good network segmentation, keeping different parts of the network separate.
Could be. That's a best practice, right? Limits the blast radius if one part gets hit.
Definitely helps contain the damage.
Initially, Ingram Micro was pretty quiet on the cause. Just IT issues, standard crisis comms maybe. But then, Sunday morning, they confirmed it. Ransomware. So they took systems offline proactively, brought in cybersecurity experts, notified law enforcement. All the right steps, procedurally.
Yeah, that's the textbook response once you confirm ransomware. Take things offline, investigate, contain, call for help. But the recovery, that's always the long haul. It can take months to fully restore everything, be sure the attackers are really gone, no backdoors left, and it's a massive effort. And just a quick note on SafePay ransomware, the group involved here.
Yeah, what's their deal?
They're relatively new, actually. Only popped up around November 2024, so just over 6 months ago.
Wow, that recent.
Yeah, but they've already racked up over 220 victims, according to public counts.
That's incredibly fast growth.
It is. It reflects that whole ransomware as a service trend, right? Where groups create the malware and infrastructure and affiliates carry out the attacks. Lowers the bar for entry. The ransom notes often mention data theft, kind of generic language, but it's not always clear if they actually exfiltrate data in every single attack. Sometimes it's just about the disruption and encryption. But the operational damage, like we saw with Ingram Micro, is undeniable and very costly.
You know, it really strikes me, looking at both these stories, Telefónica and Ingram Micro, is that common thread you mentioned earlier? The attacks often start with seemingly simple things, right?
Yeah.
A misconfiguration, maybe missed by an admin, or compromised credentials, maybe from a phishing email someone clicked, leading to VPN access.
Exactly. It really underscores that point. Even with all the super sophisticated threats out there, the fundamentals of cybersecurity hygiene are still absolutely critical. And it's important for you listening to understand these basics aren't always easy. They require real effort. We're talking rigorous patch management, enforcing multi-factor authentication everywhere it can be enforced, constantly training employees because social engineering is so prevalent.
Right, the human element.
And meticulous network segmentation, like we potentially saw, helping Ingram Micro limit some damage. It's the consistent, maybe unglamorous, but vital work that often prevents these massive headline-grabbing incidents.
Okay, let's shift gears completely now from the challenges, and let's face it, the sometimes grim reality of cybersecurity, to the really exciting side of tech innovation. specifically AI. We're looking ahead to OpenAI's next big thing, GPT-5, expected sometime this summer, apparently.
Yeah, the anticipation is definitely building for this one.
And the core idea, the big ambition here, sounds pretty groundbreaking. They want to unify multiple AI models into one single system.
That's the goal.
So if you use ChatGPT now, you know there are different models, right? Some better for certain tasks. Sometimes it's confusing which one to use.
Yeah, you might switch between them depending on if you need more reasoning power or multimodal features.
Exactly. GPT-5 aims to just streamline all that, make it seamless. One model to rule them all, sort of.
Well, maybe not rule them all, but definitely unify the core strengths. That unification is the key technical leap they're aiming for. Right now, as you said, OpenAI has this lineup. They call it the O series, like GPT-4o. These are really strong on reasoning, complex logic, analysis, coding, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Then you have other models, or maybe modes within models, that excel at multimodality, handling text, images, audio, maybe video all together.
Got it. Different strengths.
Right. So GPT-5, according to OpenAI folks like Romain Hues and Jerry Twerk, the idea is to merge the breakthroughs in reasoning from the O series with the breakthroughs in multimodality from the GPT-series.
Oh, bring the best of both worlds together.
Exactly. The goal, they say, is less model switching for the user and basically making everything our models can currently do better, but all within one more powerful architecture.
Okay, now that has huge implications for you, for the user, for how we all interact with AI, really. Imagine just a smoother, more powerful, more intuitive experience, right? Instead of thinking, okay, which model for this? You just interact. And it understands complex logic and can handle images or audio you throw at it all at once. No awkward switching.
Yeah, the potential is there for a much more fluid interaction.
Think about, like, brainstorming a complex project strategy, then asking the same AI to whip up some visuals based on that strategy, maybe help refine your spoken pitch for it, draft a summary email, all without leaving that single conversation.
That's the promise. Less friction, more capability.
The insight here, I think, is AI moving from being like a toolbox of specialized tools to becoming more like a single adaptable assistant, something that can understand and engage with our world in a much more, I don't know, fluid, maybe even human-like way.
It's definitely a step in that direction.
No wonder people are excited. Especially with Sam Altman hinting at a summer rollout. It feels like it's really close.
Indeed. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, GPT-5's unification, it really could change the paradigm, how we interact with AI day to day, making it far more versatile, less compartmentalized than what we have now.
Right.
It's a significant step towards that idea of a more general AI, one that can adapt to a much wider range of tasks without needing us to constantly point it to the right specialized tool. This could really democratize access to these advanced capabilities, make them useful for more people, more businesses, foster innovation everywhere. And it also just pushes the boundaries. It might unlock new ways to use AI that we haven't even thought of yet, simply because the current fragmentation kind of limits how we think about applying it.
And that just about wraps up another deep dive here on Cyber Mornings Daily. Quite a journey today. We covered that digital battlefield, the persistent threats, like the alleged Telefónica breach and that confirmed Ingram Micro ransomware hit, really highlights how basic vulnerabilities can cause massive problems.
The fundamentals matter.
Then we jump to the cutting edge of AI with OpenAI's GPT-5, that promise of a unified, more powerful, more intuitive intelligence, really exciting potential there. The common threads are pretty clear, aren't they? This ongoing digital arms race, attackers getting clever, but at the same time, innovation just racing forward creates both new challenges and incredible opportunities.
It really is a fascinating, sometimes, daunting landscape, constant change. As we've explored today, our digital world is shaped by this constant tension, isn't it, between those trying to exploit weaknesses and those striving to build smarter, more secure, more connected tech. It's this cycle of challenge and response, innovation and exploitation that affects every single one of us. So maybe the thought to leave you with today is this. As this relentless evolution continues, what does it mean for your own digital safety, for your privacy? And maybe most interestingly, how will it change your interaction with the technologies of tomorrow? Something to ponder as you navigate your digital life.
A powerful thought, as always. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Stay informed, stay curious, everyone. And we'll be back soon with more insights right here on Cyber Mornings Daily.